started 15. Shalom, shalom. I'm gonna just check the stream real quick, make sure everything's straight. Checking. Perfect. All right. Shalom. We're the brothers of Great Millstone and Branch out Des Moines. First and foremost, we would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakodash. Double honors to our apostles and other bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, salutations to all you brothers preaching the gospel in truth and in sincerity, always in charity. And you can see the title of the lesson is entitled "Men Cannot Afford to Be Careless." You know, and it's inspired through the Holy Spirit. You know, me and the brother was sitting here just having a conversation. You know, and the Spirit reminded me of this scene, you know, in the first Godfather. You know, without further ado, I'm gonna play the scene, you know, and then we'll get into some precepts.
Need money fast? File with H&R Block. You can get a refund advance loan up to $4,000.
Guaranteeing your safety. You keep going over this Bassini business.
No, not at all.
It's an old habit. I spend my life trying not to be careless. Women and children can be careless, but not men.
Right. So Vito Corleone, which he's the main character in The Godfather, he just told his son Michael Corleone, which in the movie he was the one that was to assume, you know, the headship of the family, for lack of a better word. He was instructing his son and telling his son, women and children can afford to be careless, but men must not be careless, man. You know, and that's more so even now in these days that we in, you know, waking up to who we are, coming back into the understanding of the Holy Scriptures, you know, and especially in the last days that we in, you know, and it tells us in the Scriptures, man, you know, in Proverbs, the first chapter, you know, that these words is given unto us. I'll just pull it up. This is Proverbs 1:1. It says, the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man, knowledge and discretion. You know, so the Holy Spirit that is given unto us, man, you know, is meant to teach us, man, subtlety. You know, when you go into that word subtlety, it goes into discretion, it goes into discernment, you know, it goes into acuteness of mind, and that goes into just, you know, being able to, you know, be mindful of things, for lack of a better word, man, just to simplify it. You know, it makes us mindful of our surroundings. It makes us mindful of how we conduct ourselves and how we move throughout this society. It makes us mindful of how we, you know, do things and participate in things. You know, just a brief insight into the conversation that me and the brother was having. I was telling the brother, you know, just having you know, a mind towards everything that we do. You know, I know a lot of brothers, you know, within their camp structure, you know, they got like precept of the days, and they got different things that they participate in. You know, I was telling the brother, man, it goes as, you know, as little, right, quote unquote little, because these things, they might seem little now, but man, in the times that we coming into, these lessons that we're learning is going to be vital to our, you know, being in tune with the Spirit, which leads into our salvation, man. You know, but just being intentional, right? Having a mind in the precept of the day, you know, See, with a mundane task, the constant task over and over again, Jake can just become complacent in that task. Here it is, the precept of the day. Esau's the devil. I'm gonna post this precept, man. Job 9:24. And that becomes just like a routine. And Jake could end up participating in doing those things without putting mind into it or without putting thought into it, But we want to make sure that even something as small as that, we want to make sure that we're putting thought and we're putting mindfulness into these things that we're participating in, man. Don't be careless. Like, men can't afford to be careless, even when it's as small as the precept of the day. Because according to Sirach, the 19th chapter, it tells...
This is Sirach chapter 19 and verse 1. A laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich.
Right. So that a laboring man, so this is a man who's working for his living, but here it is, he's given to abundance though. Mm-hmm. So all that labor you putting in, but if you're given over to that abundance, whether it's actual drunkenness or whether it's actual, you just want the finer things in life, man, you will never be rich. And just applying that in the spirit, you will never accrue, or you will never gather the true riches and the understanding of the scriptures, man. Why? Because you always given over to some type of carnal thing or some type of pleasure, man. Jake, that's always drinking, man. Yeah, we all laboring, we go to work, man. We gotta, provide for ourselves. But then Jake always at the bottle. It says he'll never be rich. You see? And just applying that rich into the spirit of having proper understanding, having proper counsel, having proper judgment, having proper balance.
Yeah.
You find out that Jake that's given over to those things, they're lacking in certain parts, man. Because they're giving over too much into indulgence, I know you want to say something.
No, I was just going to add the scripture. It says, she that is given to pleasure is dead while she living. So that just don't apply to a woman. That's any and all of us. If we're just giving over to pleasure, all right, just giving over completely to our appetites, all right, it causes us to lose in the spirit. It says to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. So we need our focus and our attention into these, these spiritual things. Having a good focus and attention. That's what that word attend means. To direct one's mind or energies.
All right.
And like the brother was mentioning, like with all these different things that are being asked of us in the spirit, our mind and our energy needs to be given over to it. All right, you can half-ass do the other stuff in the world, but this is something that doesn't need to be that shouldn't be half-assed.
Hey, gonna just throw some out there for you, because we talked about being intentional.
Yeah.
Having intent behind what we're doing. Now, this word intentional in the regular Google dictionary, Oxford language, it says done on purpose, deliberate.
Yeah, deliberately.
And when I think of deliberate, I think of Wisdom of Solomon 12, where the Most I said, with such circumspection and with such deliberation, didst thou judge thy sons. So when you read that Revelation 12, it goes into how much carefulness and how much thought the Heavenly Father put into this whole process that we're on, man. And if the Most High has done that, don't the scripture say that we have the mind of Yahweh Shai, and Yahweh Shai in turn says him and his Father is one. So we got to be intentional or deliberate when it comes to our partaking in whatever we're partaking in. Right. And I'm just applying it into the spiritual aspect of things, man. Because that's how we are able to get the most benefit out of it, for lack of a better word. I hope I'm explaining it the best way I can, how it's in my mind, man. To get the best benefit out of something, man, is to be deliberate and intent in what you're doing, so you can get the fullness of the reaping.
Yeah.
It's
just like I'm gonna just apply to eating food. Let's say you take 2 bites and you chew it 2 times and you swallow it down, right? All right, you swallow it down, you're not going to get as much nutrients as you would when you chew it and you completely process it and, you really break it down. You got to chew your food, break it down so then you can get the most out of it. So just applying it, in the spirit to how the brother had mentioned.
Like chewing the cud.
Yeah, like chewing the cud, exactly. So the more that we chew it down, the more nutrients we get out of it. But, just applying it to these different things, if we just half-assing it, you miss details. All right. you end up not following instructions completely or whatever the case may be, because it's a lack of attentiveness to it. And if I could just grab this word deliberate, it says in the Edamon online, done with careful consideration. All right.
Yeah. As small as a precept of the day should be done with careful consideration. Because if we're doing that on that small of a level, how much more should it translate into all these other things that we're doing in the spirit of Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai, man?
It says, consider carefully, consult, literally, weigh well. So you're weighing different things in your mind, like, okay, well, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Well, no, he said do this like that, X, Y, and Z. You're weighing these things. You're not just out doing something without thinking it through thoroughly, Says, let counsel go before every enterprise. So you're going to think something through, all right, before just making a rash decision or just moving willy-nilly or whatever the case may be. You're going to weigh it well in your mind. It says, deliberate, the verb, weigh in the mind, consider carefully, discuss and examine the reasons for or against, so once again, just weighing things in our mind carefully.
It says, what's the last part?
Discuss and examine the reasons for or against.
That's discernment.
Yeah.
Or prudence.
Mm-hmm.
When you go into that word prudent, it goes into the wisdom to see what is profitable and of a high moral standard, man.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes into what was good for you and what's not, and just applying that on just the small basics, man. And it's going to show forth in our everyday, journey, man, for lack of a better word,
because you're creating a habit,
right?
A habit of thinking things through always, not being lazy minded. There's times where you just, you think about something and you just throw it away, or, you just get distracted or whatever the case may be. But we're learning to really exercise, like, hold on, wait, what did this person say? Let me consider what they're saying. Let me consider what's being, said or whatever, instead of just being lazy minded, right? If I could finish out that Sirach.
Yep.
Sirach 19:1, a laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich, and he that contemneth small things shall fall by little and little. Right, so it says he that contemneth small things. So these different things, it's really a opportunity, man, to really work on these different things now, these little.
That's the spirit. Pull this for you.
Oh, Con, you got it.
It's Ephesians 5:15, and I'm gonna read it in the NLT.
Perfect.
It says, so be careful how you live. Don't live like fools, but like those who are wise. And in the KJV, it tells us to be circumspect.
Mm-hmm.
Circumspect means to look around, right? But that also adds in with what that deliberate.
Yeah, deliberation.
Weighing
it in your mind.
Weighing it in our mind, man.
Being careful, you know. I'll quote it. Sirach, the 18th chapter says, "A wise man will fear in everything, and in the day of sinning, he will be aware of offense." So a wise man is going to be moving carefully. All right, that starts in the thought,
especially now in these times that we're entering into, man. And this is why it's important to focus on just the little small details, man. Now we gotta lock in now. Because Jake think, when all hell starts to break loose, man, and Jake just gonna be a super Hebrew, with a garment blowing in the wind, man. It ain't gonna work like that, man. If we're not focused on these details now, if we're not self-examining now, if we ain't fasting and praying and building that relationship now, if we're not utilizing this grace period right now, man, before the evil days come. And we see the beginning. It's the beginning of sorrows. We see these different things taking place. We see the devil painting this narrative, Now he's sending memos out to all the police stations in America, man. Watch out for this and look out for that. So we see that this devil is about to start painting his narrative, man, so he could come forth with his agenda. He wants to get us off those corners, man. So guess what this devil do? He takes little puppets and peons and he say, look, tell the people this. Which is little truths, little what they call that, truth bombs, So he'll allow them to say certain things, man, just so he can come with the legislation to shut down free speech. And it's all geared towards stopping the prophets from speaking what we're speaking, man. That's what it's geared towards. But the point being is that this devil is building his narrative, and he's about to come down with great wrath, man. So we want to make sure that we're operating and moving in the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua to the best of our ability. Because if we ain't in tune and deliberate in our actions and what the spirit is telling us now, how we gonna be able to listen to the spirit in times when there's a platoon kicking in the door? You know, to know when the spirit's saying, no, flee, go that way, go this way. And that all starts with being in tune and utilizing this grace period that we have now, man, so that we ain't second guessing ourselves in that time, you know? But did you wanted to say something, or you had something, or you want me to finish this?
I'll read this real quick. That because that word contemn, we read it. He that contemneth small things shall fall little by little, right? That word contempt says to slight or spurn in the etymon online. It says to despise, scorn, consider something or someone as of a small value. All right. So we don't want to go throughout, our everyday life experience, because once again, the Lord has taken us through these things to train us, whether it's the chastisement, the correction, different positions that we're in and so on and so forth. The Lord is very deliberate in taking us through these things so that we can grow and develop these different characteristics. All right. But if we're going through life on autopilot and just moving and, not trying to hearken to the spirit or not trying to find out what the Lord is teaching us or not grasping lessons from these small mistakes, we're hindering our own growth. All right. And in that time, as things continue to intensify, man, the consequences for these things is going to be very detrimental, man. So we got to really be careful and move in the fear of the Lord and consider all these things.
The spirit tell you to go right, get off the highway, instead of staying on, and then you don't listen to that. And then now it takes you 15 minutes longer to get home. Mm-hmm. And the times we coming into now, that can cost you your life. It ain't going to cost you 15 minutes on your trip.
But if you're not considering that carefully, like just even that experience alone, like the spirit right then, if you look at that, like, okay, well, damn, like next time, that was pressing. That was the spirit that was talking to me.
Yeah.
Learning to,
Yep. And even because you will have a thought, you'll be riding, and then the thought will tell you to get off. And then you'll be like, why am I getting off here?
Right.
you ask that, like, exactly. Why am I getting off here? Like,
got this urge.
It doesn't make sense for me to get off right here. But then you stay on, and then you realize traffic jammed. Mm-hmm. It's a 4-car pile up down the road, mm-hmm. and now you spending 2 hours.
Right.
Oh, and then it's like, that's why it was telling me to get off, man. So we might not understand why the spirit is telling us things at that moment, but we're being exercised. And while we're in this grace period, we're being exercised to learn and to perceive
the spirit.
That's the spirit, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what we're learning, man. And we're learning that through what? Like the brother said, through the hell that the Lord puts us through the positions that the Lord have us in within the body, through the rebukes and the reproofs and, through all these different things, man. The Lord is molding us into that,
because it says that the Lord speaketh once, yea, twice, yet man doth not perceive it.
Right.
So we should be seeking to, is that the voice? Let me understand, growing in that. Because even in that same example, all right, you could just look at it as nothing. Like, oh, man, just catch a hill, man. I had to be in traffic for 2 hours. But didn't the spirit alert you already, in that you should have got off on that exit? So then if you just, I'm just catching hell, going through this and then the third, but really the Lord is trying to talk to you, trying to teach us a lesson. So we can't just, look at everything as just Satan. Carnally, Satan. And,
every time it's something negative, it's Satan.
All right. It's the Lord trying to teach,
and it's like, bro, no, the Lord is talking, bro. And even if it is Satan, guess who allowed it to happen? The Lord.
It's a sparring partner. Like
So even if it is Satan, the Lord is teaching us something through that. Mm-hmm. It ain't always, man, Satan got it out for me, man. No, it's the Lord jacking your ass up, man. Because you ain't being mindful of his words and his instructions that he's given. Man, Satan did it. No, bro. But you was done with the etymon?
Yeah, I was done with that one. You can finish that, and then I got another definition.
Right. This is back in Ephesians 5 and 15 again. So be careful how you live. Don't live like fools, but like those who are wise. Make the most of every opportunity. And that's what made me, grab this, because you spoke about the opportunity, man.
Yeah.
We got opportunity right now, man. So let's utilize it, man. Right? It says, make the most of every opportunity in these evil days. Don't act thoughtlessly, but understand what the Lord wants you to do. So it says, don't act thoughtlessly, man. So it's going back into, what Vito Corleone told his son Michael, man. Men cannot afford to be careless. That means thoughtless. You ain't giving no thought. You ain't giving no type of intent into what you're doing and how you moving, man. Yeah. We cannot afford to do that. Like Vito said, man, women can do that. Children can do that. But as men, we cannot afford to do that, man. Especially men of the Lord, especially with such great responsibility, that's laid upon us, man. We can't be out here operating and moving without care or without thought. You got it.
Yeah, so this word careless, just a Google definition. It says not giving sufficient attention or thought to avoiding harm or errors, right? So not giving sufficient attention or thought. So there's times where we put a little thought in something, a little intention into it, all right? But if it's not enough, it can lead to errors. It can lead to mistakes, And it reminds me of we King Saul. You mentioned him earlier today, but even in that, with King Saul, he was given clear instructions, and he followed part of it, because it was told King Saul you needed to kill all the Amalekites. He destroyed some of them, but he left Agag.
Or everything, livestock.
Yeah, livestock. I was gonna mention that one.
Everything.
Yep. He was kill all the livestock. He killed some of the livestock, but he didn't kill all of it. He brought some back to sacrifice and everything like that. Then he turned around and said, I did the word of the Lord, So there's times where, you get instructions to do X, Y, and Z. You do X and Y, but if you leave Z lacking, you didn't complete the task. And paying attention to these different details, the art of listening, the art of listening, paying attention, all these things are very important, because once again, man, we can't go into this time being ditzy, man. Like some blonde Edomite, walking around ditzy, like, oh, I didn't know this, and no circumspection, no, just none of that, man. We're learning wisdom and subtlety, like the brother quoted that Proverbs, the first chapter. I
got something real quick.
Come on.
This is 1 Samuel 18 and 14. It says, and David behaved himself wisely in all his ways, and Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushua was with him. Right? Now I want to go into this word wisely, because it says our king behaved. Matter of fact, let's go to that word behave first. It ain't. I can't pull it.
What? 1 Samuel.
Yeah, 1 Samuel 18 and 14. It ain't showing me a Strong's number for it.
Okay, Con. So let me just see if I can see
in the blue letter.
Behaved himself wisely. It's
Shakal.
Yeah, Shakal.
It's wisely. It ain't giving me a definition for behave. But this is the Hebrew word Shakal for wisely, right? And I know a brother named Shakal. Shout out to that brother. It says to be prudent, be circumspect. And that's what that Ephesians 5 and 15, going back into the KJV, tells us to be. To be circumspect. So it's telling us to be wise in all our ways, man.
Cautious.
It says to wisely understand, to prosper, to be prudent, to be circumspect, to look at or upon, have insight. It says that to give attention to. And that lines up with what you talked about, to attend.
Yeah, the word attend unto wisdom, to direct one's mind and energy.
In Wisdom of Solomon, it talks about they was delivered from pain, those who attended upon her.
Man,
that's Wisdom of Solomon in the 10th chapter, man. And the word attend, I like to tie that in with give attendance to reading, exhortation, and doctrine. When you go into that Greek word in 1 Timothy 4 for attendance, it goes into to turn the mind to, right? It says to turn the mind to, or to be addicted unto, man. Right? So that's what attend means, man. to have full thought or full mind into something.
Mhm.
That's what it says, give thyself wholly unto her,
Yeah.
as the scripture saith, man.
Yeah.
You know?
And when we're not doing that, that's moving carelessly or thinking carelessly. Going back to that definition, you know, not having pretty much that full attention, you know, over to something. And that wisdom of Solomon's heavy, like you had quoted. He that attends upon wisdom is or he's delivered from pain those that attend upon her. So when we aren't directing our mind fully over to something, or we half-ass in certain shit, or whatever the case may be, because our mind isn't, you know, locked in and focused on it,
We give it room to get fucked up.
that's right, man. And then we end up in some pain. You know, damn, man, if I would have just paid a little closer attention, you know, even with certain tasks, like you know, even in certain experiences, like you might be trying to hurry up and get something done. It's like, nah, you better off waiting until you can direct your mind and fully, you know, attention to something rather than doing something half-ass and messing up.
Right.
You know,
I got that pre for you.
Huh.
Wisdom of Solomon 10:9. But wisdom delivered from pain those that attended upon her.
That's right, man. So, you know, we want to make sure our mind is fully given over to these different things, man. You know, not half-ass, you know, thinking and lazy-minded and all that, or hey, like we was talking about. You know, there is times where, hey, yeah, it is times, like the scripture says, the earthly tabernacle weigheth down upon the soul that museth upon many things.
Yep.
There's times where our mind is, you know, it can feel overwhelmed with this and that, different responsibilities and everything like that. But we're being trained and learned to filter out all of that, to take care of what needs to be taken care of, and then sort out all that other stuff after.
Yeah, that's
Like,
2 Ezra 14. Cast off the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature.
Mm-hmm. Like,
You know?
that's a skill. Like, even when you mentioned it earlier, I'm like, damn, that's really a skill to be able to filter out all the noise and focus on the frequency. Going back to Elder's lesson.
Well, they tell you, even in the world, you know, there's a saying about don't worry about things you can't control.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's the same thing applied in the spirit. Like, and now we understand that what is given in the hands of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah, we know the Lord is in full control of these things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, look, like, whatever I can't control is in the hand of the Lord. So I'm finna focus and lock in on what I can do and how I can be better. You know?
That's why it says cast your cares upon him because he careth for you. You know
right.
what I'm saying? So we can't, like the brothers always say, man, that's something that stuck with me. Like, hey, let what the Lord has, you know, let the Lord do what he do, man. Just do and focus on yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you can do, man. You know what I'm saying? Pray, fast, whatever necessary things to do is to be good in the eyes of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah. He said, seek the kingdom, then everything else will be added onto you.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of what even Paul said, man. He talked about attending upon the Lord without distraction.
All right.
So here it is. We have responsibilities. See, those responsibilities, taking care of these different things, carnal things, like you gotta pay your bills, you gotta, you know, go to work and do these different things like that. You have to give a certain amount of attention to those things. All right. But we learn to balance and knowing how to filter those different things out to stay locked in and focus on what needs to be taken care of. Because you can't just completely neglect certain things. Nah, there's a certain amount of attention that needs to be given. But having the skill to know when to get my mind to that for a little bit, you know. All right, did I take care of it? Now I need to take care of this right now. And then I can get my mind to think about that. You know, there's times where it's like, I'll be hot putting the lesson together. Then Satan trying to throw this different thought in my mind, that thought in my mind, to give my attention over to that. Like, nah, I need to focus on getting this lesson done, filter that out. That can wait. That can be on the back burner. And once again, this is a skill. You know, you can't just be like, oh, I got this going on, that going on, X, Y, and Z, which, you know, we do deal with different things, but it's a skill to be able to filter all that we have going on and keeping our eyes single, focusing on what we need to do.
Yeah.
You know,
prioritize.
Exactly. That's it. Just prioritize.
It's prioritizing, man. We know what's the most important thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We should know. I put it like that. We should know.
Put off now the weak nature.
Right. So that's separating certain thoughts. He said, put off from the mortal thoughts. So mortal thoughts are going to come, you know, different shit that really don't really matter, and whatever the case it may be, or different stuff weighing us down. That's why Yahweh Shai said himself, he said, watch and pray always that your hearts be not overcharged.
Yep.
Overcharged means what? Weighed down with surfeiting.
Sure.
So these different things weigh our mind down. Surfeiting is over excess in certain things, man. All right. You could be doing too much at the, You know, whether it's the bar, the drinking, or different things in the flesh, pleasure.
Too much of anything.
Yeah, like you said, anything.
You know,
too much into your family, your job.
Even too much in the book. There's times where we gotta chill out, man. What it says, be not over righteous.
Yeah.
Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? I'm roughly paraphrasing that, man. It says, be not over wise. I'm roughly paraphrasing it, man, because there's a precept where it says that man, it just left me. You know, damn, it talks about too much. But there's
too much honey.
Too much honey lest thou vomit. And the scriptures is likened unto honey.
Vomit. That's the spirit.
That's the water.
Yeah.
You know,
I was like, vomit,
the scripture says, you know, don't eat too much honey. Now the scriptures is compared to honey. So there's times where you gotta sit back and watch a movie. You know what I'm saying? Or sit, you know, sit back and get a drink. You know, there's times where we can be doing too much in the spirit, where the Lord would be like,
you gotta calibrate.
You know, so there's a balance in all things, man, and we gotta learn that. You know,
this is real quick. This is their Proverbs 25:16. Hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomit.
Yeah, because I've seen guys, man, that try to be super deep. You know, want to act like they just this super prophet, man, and they going into this and that and spend all night what it says, making many books where there's no end. You know, man, this book, man, I was reading this book and it tied in with that and it tied in with this, you know, and it did that, you know, and it's like, nah, Joe, you doing too much, man. Chill out, relax. You know, so there's a proper balance in all these different things, man. But especially when it comes to those the things of the flesh.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Back in the 2 Ezra 14:15, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times.
Yep.
No, I was gonna say, so putting certain thoughts aside, you know, that's a skill within itself, man. Prioritizing, you know, differentiating, weighing certain things. Or I'll think about that later. You know, got to deal with it. It is a responsibility, but right now I need to focus on that, as opposed to I got this responsibility, that responsibility, and whatever. It's like, nah, man, not getting weighed down. Going back to that Luke, I was quoting. I'm gonna just go ahead and read it since I was pretty much quoting the whole precept. Luke 21 and verse 34. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged, meaning weighed down with surfeiting over excess and drunkenness and cares of this life, right? And so that day come upon you unaware. So Yahushua is telling us for a reason, all right? That's why it says, keep thy heart with all diligence, man, for out of it are the issues of life, roughly paraphrasing it, man. That's putting a guard and a protection like, nah, I can't think about that right now. I need to focus on the mission. This is getting too much of my attention. You know, this is getting too much of my attention. I need to recalibrate. You know, my mind is too much on that. And because it takes away from the spirit, like it says in the book of Sirach, man, it talks about through opportunity of leisure. And then
wisdom comes by opportunity of leisure.
That's right. And it says, he whose mind is upon, I'll just grab it. You know, and the scriptures talk about not being busy in many matters, man.
I got it for you, bro.
Count the water.
Sirach 38:24. It says, the wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure, and he that hath little business shall become wise.
Mm-hmm. It says, he that hath little business shall become wise, right? Keep reading, Baba Kusha.
Kind of says, how can he get wisdom that holdeth the plow, and that glorieth in the goad, that driveth oxen, and is occupied in their labors?
That's right.
And whose talk is of bullocks.
Now, when you read further down, it goes into different men and their occupations that they have, and, you know, whether it's the blacksmith, the farmer, and everything like that. But it says, how can he get wisdom if his mind is given completely over to those crafts? You know? So our mind is given over to this wisdom, right? We can't, that's why requote what Paul said, attending upon the Lord without distraction, not getting too distracted, filtering out these different things. You know, once again, it's a skill, man. I had quoted to the brother speaking about Daniel. All right, Daniel was the second in the kingdom. All right, he was over 120 something provinces, man. That had 3 presidents, and he was the chief of them. Okay, he had a lot of responsibility, but look at his dedication. He was in the books. It said he learned by books. You know how long he was gonna be in Babylon. He was praying 3 times a day. So he was very skilled in, prioritizing and taking care of his responsibilities and being fully dedicated to the Lord. That's a skill. It says a government of a prudent man is well ordered, So these are, different things, man. Hey, we have to keep our mind focused on the mission, even to the smallest things like we were talking about. All right. And that's going to help us be able to make it in these times to come.
Yep. Just moving in the spirit, man. This great spirit that the Lord has given us, man, is we learning how to move in the spirit more and more. And the spirit is like the wind.
Yes.
So that's why Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, says what it says, man. There's a time and season to all things. There's a time to hate. There's a time to love. There's a time to plant. There's a time to root up that which is planted. And this is what the spirit is teaching us, man. So just to requote the precepts, man, and tell King David moved wisely, circumspectly, right? Deliberately in all his ways. The scriptures tell us, well, as we read in NLT in Ephesians, the 5th chapter, right? It says, don't act thoughtlessly, man. The brother quoted it. There's a Sirach where it says, what? A wise man will fear in all things, and in the day of sinning, he will be aware of offense. So it's just being mindful of ourselves, man, and so much the more in the times that we coming into, right? And then another one I want to quote in the book of Sirach, it says, be not confident in a plain way. You see? So, man, I've been doing this for woo up the bam, and then now the Lord throw a curveball into there, man.
Gotta adjust.
So we got to learn how to make adjustments through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, and that comes through with being deliberate, with being careful in our everyday doings, man. And like I was saying, man, it starts even as small as to all you brothers, man, who do precept of the days or your reads. You might have assigned reads in the camp. Don't just read it to get the read done. Read with intent. Be intentional with your reading. What are you getting out of that? Right? Be deliberate when it comes to putting your lessons together. Jake just do stuff to say that they did it, man, so that nobody is saying nothing to him. And there's no thought behind it. There's no intent behind it, man.
Half sacrifice.
You see? It has to be careful thought put into what we're putting forth. Whether it be lessons, whether it be precepts of the days, whether it be intentional in our reading, whether it be whatever it may be. Why am I at class? A lot of Jake at class, this is a fucking drink wine, man.
Eat chicken.
Oh, yeah, if Jake got some food, what are you at class for, man? Be deliberate when you come to the gatherings and to the congregation, man. You see? All these things, man, we got to put care, thought, and energy into it, man. We can't just be out here just doing shit, man. There's a lot of Jake among us that's just doing shit, man.
Yeah.
And they've been around for 8-9 years, so now it becomes it's autopilot.
It's mediocre.
So really. Jake know how to post a precept with the topic. Jake know that. You see what I'm saying? Jake know how to just show up. Don't you know a nigga at the job, man? It's like, bro, if this nigga don't come today, he fired. That nigga know to come.
You gonna make sure he there.
Yeah.
Just enough not to get fired.
You know what I'm saying? The nigga do just enough not to get fired. You got Jake some other stuff like that, man. There ain't no thought. There is no intention. Jake not deliberate. It ain't energy being put into it, man. Damn. In Sirach, I believe it's the 51st chapter, man. He said, in my doings, I was exact.
I was holding that. That's, man.
To the best of our ability, we in this flesh and we all fall short, man. But it's just once again, we can't be careless, man. As men, especially as men of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, we can't be fucking careless, man.
Yeah.
I got this word real quick. Intend, like to intend to do something.
Right.
It says from the Edamon, it says 1300 says direct one's attention to, pay attention, give heed. It says to direct one's attention.
That's attend, right?
Intend. Like
intend.
I intend to do something.
Right.
It says turn one's attention.
That sounds just like attend.
Yep.
And
yeah. It says strain.
Wait, read that again.
Which one?
That last point, Salaki.
To turn one's attention to.
Okay, to turn one's attention.
See, that's what made me think of attend, because it's the same definitions.
It says strain, be zealous.
Strain, that means that's mental strength.
Strenuous.
Yeah. You're putting mental strength to it, Go ahead.
It says have as a plan, have in mind or purpose. It says to think, conjecture, purpose.
Right, like
conjecture. I'm thinking of Wisdom Solomon 8. It says that she conjectureth aright what is to come. And that's as if we're in the spirit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
See, in the spirit, we're able to see things before it happened, man. You could be able to walk into a room and be able to read the situation.
Yeah.
You know, say you at the grocery store or you out and about and you see a certain situation and you like, bro, this nigga about to snap. Let me get the fuck on, man.
Yeah.
Because you can see things before it play out by just being in the spirit, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's why that elder pastor, not elder pastor, it was the elder Yashawamba. He shit, put your phone down. You know what I'm saying? Like while you in the store or something like that, let's make sure we looking around, man, because this shit is about to pop off. You know? Because shit, we need our phones, but bro, it's not that serious, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
In it,
exactly.
Yeah. Hey, and even in it reminds me of what Paul said. You was thinking about that conjecture at the right. The Spirit had me think about what Paul said. A fight is one not beating the air.
Right.
You know? So you could be like, I am fighting, but there's no intention, there's no thought, there's no, you just swinging, you know, just to say I'm fighting.
You shadow boxing. you ain't fighting nobody.
You wasting your time, man. You know, so having our mind towards that. And I was even thinking about in the law. See, even in the law, when it came down to sacrifices, you couldn't just throw no lamb out there. You had to examine that lamb, bullock, you know, had to make sure it had no blemish. You couldn't just go there, you know. Like, all right, here it goes. Like, hold on, nah, you ain't examined. It's a blemish right here.
Some of them, you know, it don't show in the fur.
Yeah, you gotta actually.
So you would have to
strain through the skin,
strain through the hair just to because you know look at the skin, man.
Right. And what did the Lord say in the book of Malachi? Take this to your governor. Will he accept this? You know. So like, just keeping that in mind with the spiritual sacrifices that we're putting in. These are different spiritual things that we're sowing, man. So whether it's the precepts of the day, like, hold on, let me make sure that. Yeah, I'm making this acceptable, you know, or whether it's the lessons, like you said, like having the intention, like, nah, let me, you know, take my time and put this together. This link, wait, is this the proper interpretation of this precept or however, you know?
All right. But we got any closing precepts, man? We gonna slide into class.
Nah, that's all good.
Hey, so, you know, just something brief that we wanted to speak on, man. You know, we can't afford to be careless, especially in the times that we enter into, you know, so, just, you know, putting the exhortation out there, man. Let us put more thought, you know, let us put more energy, you know, let us put more mind into what we're doing, man. You know, our participation in this ministry on all fronts, whatever it may be, you know, let us put mind and energy, effort, thought into what we're putting forth, man. So, you know, because I had made a statement to the brothers, you can be doing something spiritual, but not be in the spirit doing it, man. And that's a scary thing, man. You know, so we're going to end it there. We're going to give all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, salutations to all you brothers preaching the gospel in truth and sincerity, always in charity. Throughout for tuning in with us through the Spirit. Shalom.
Shalom.